you really understand what you have your hands on, number one, you'd make sure you're very compliant on the product and you never miss a day. Matter of fact, you probably want to take it twice a day. You'll find that you'll probably want to get every single one of your children, your family members, your brothers, your mothers, and that's how you know if people believe in the product. They get everybody they know on it, right? And so I think after this webinar, you're going to probably get your eyes going to light up and see a little bit more of what really Cili is about, what the products are about, and what you really have your hands on. Okay, so let's jump in here, and I'm going to bring up we're going to mostly primarily talk about the technology and Swish tonight. I could easily bring up one of the other products, one of the sprays, and kind of have the same conversation. Okay, but again, the main topic here is Cili more than just CBD, or more than just CBD and CBG, right? Okay, because we all know we have a 50-50 blend of CBD and CBG, right? Based from hemp, right? And so that's the largest ingredient in the product. But then when you come down through this, you have the other this adaptogen blend, which is other key ingredients. Okay, and then you come on down, you've got the mineral blend, and the glycobiological blend, and then the mitochondrial energy blend, right? And so I'm going to talk a little bit about some value that this gives you, and I'm going to actually select one ingredient here tonight to really get into, but we're going to deep dive a little bit into some of what we're doing. Now, this is not so much about the technology. If you want to learn more about the technology, we're going to hit that a little bit because it's what makes this whole thing work, right? But if you need more of that we've got a whole training on that and a whole presentation about that in your app. I think it's called the Cili Advantage and so forth, that you can look at that. But let's talk a little bit about what we're doing. And one thing I want to do here, I want to make sure I bring up this medical claim, because that we don't make any medical claims or healthcare claims. This is for your information. It's for educational purposes. Look, if you have an illness or a disease or something, any question like that, be sure to consult your healthcare profession. Okay, we don't market or promote or sell Cili's products as if they heal, cure, or mediate any illnesses or diseases. Okay, and so just want to cover that, and you can read this little disclaimer over here. But just wanted to cover myself. I may say that several times throughout this little presentation to make sure that I want to make sure that we keep ourselves clean. Okay, so we all know what CBD and CBG does. I'm not going to get into a lot of that. That's in our presentations that we do. Most of you are very well that CBD is great for inflammation and pain relief. For pain relief is one of the biggest things that CBD does. Anxiety is another, getting rid of anxiety and stress, and even some depression, etc. It's great for heart health, right? It's great for diabetes, improve sleep, and of course you'd see what Cili's CBD is doing a lot of things that a lot of normal CBD doesn't do, like such as improving with a lot of skin issues that are being improved upon, a lot of hair rejuvenation, some of the things that some of the other CBD doesn't do. And you're going to find that that's because of some of these other ingredients. Okay, and so I want to kind of cover a little bit about this here and answer maybe a couple of questions that I've gotten from you when you look down through here, and you can help you understand why this is important. Okay, and if you look into the key ingredients, we've got the MSM. I'm going to skip that one because I'm going to actually focus on that a little bit tonight and share with you a little bit more information on that. But then we've got the Boswellia there. That's here, and that ingredient, if you're not familiar with it, is great for back pains and arthritic type pain. It's a great anti-aging ingredient as well, especially for wrinkles. It's great for allergies and asthma. So if you find maybe you've had a little relief of that, it could certainly be because of this. Could be because of MSM and some of the other ingredients, right? So there's lots going on with that. I'm just going to hit a couple of little pieces for each of these, and we're going to move on. But I want to point out to you, most companies sell CBD and CBG separately. So if you wanted to buy this, you'd have to buy one bottle of an ounce or two, and then another ounce or two here. And then you'd have to go somewhere else and buy your MSM, and then you'd get to go somewhere else to buy your Boswellia there. Curcumin is another great ingredient. You've heard me talk about that many times on our calls. Curcumin is a very hard to digest and absorb element. It is, like 4,000 nanometers. So the great thing we're doing with all of our ingredients, guys, is we're nano-sizing all of them down under 10 nanometers. So a product here that if you buy on the store, I don't care if you buy the highest grade organic you can buy, you're only going to get about 2 or 3% because it's about 4,000 nanometers in size. And the human cells can only absorb nutrition when it gets down to 60 to 80 nanometers, right? And we bring all the ingredients down to under 10 nanometers, making them bioavailable, instant absorption. And so when you look at this curcumin here, in our product here, not only do we source the greatest ingredients and organic, et cetera, but we also nanosize it where the body can absorb it. So you end up with trillions of particles of each of these ingredients that can be absorbed, right? And so when you look at curcumin there, I mean, it's known for, cardiovascular situations and skin and diabetes. It's great for your mood and inflammation. It's great for weight loss as well and blood sugar, right? Just to name a few things. And again, I'm not going to get into a lot of these. You can go look at these. Corey Coridalus there. Coridalus is, again, you probably heard about that on Dr. Oz. It's the #1 ingredient in the world next to opioids for pain relief. But it's all natural, and we've got it in this product. This is, again, that we make this product to go along with the CBD and to aid with it and work synergistically with it to help with the pain release. So you don't have to go ahead and spend 30, 40, 50 bucks for your curcumin and your Coridalus. It's all in here for you, but it's nano sized down. All the talcums and the fillers and the binders are gone. It's not in here, and it's nano sized down where your cells can welcomely and easily absorb it, right? And it's also great for mental stress and mental disorders. You hear, like I said, you hear this a lot on Dr. Oz, okay? Sarsaparilla, real quick, is another great ingredient there that is just amazing. Again, great for skin. Guys and gals both. This is great for sex drive and the libido there. We've had a lot of actually compliments on our product for that particular function in the body, both from men and women. So it's a great for cognitive function, helping you think more clearly. It's great for hormone balance. Again, another one that aids in weight loss. So we've had people lose over 60 pounds using Swish, even though it's really not designed as a weight loss. When you start regulating blood sugar, you throw some of these ingredients in that help with fat burning and help with weight loss. You're going to get some weight loss if you're eating healthy, right? Again, a great immune booster there. Then we have the ashwagandha there, one of my favorite ingredients, one of the hottest ingredients on the market. Curcumin was one of the hottest, it still is, but now ashwagandha is kind of came out on the market and it's kind of going mainstream, and it's really, and again, it's just done that in the last year or two, and we were already had it in our product. We didn't wait for something to get hot, then put it in. We were way ahead. We'd already done our research, and again, it works synergistically with the CBD, the CBG, all these other ingredients working together. Again, another one great for sexual function and stamina, boost your immune system, a great antioxidant, great for boosting the immune system, great for stress and anxiety, heart health, and thyroids as well, thyroid issues. Okay, and then the last one, again, is another one of my favorite one that I've known of and been around and used for years. And that's resveratrol. And resveratrol, there's so many great studies for anti-disease. I don't want to get into some of these disease words, especially the ones that you can get in, the ones the C word and some of that. So we won't do that. But I can tell you, when you research this resveratrol, unbelievable, right? It's like one of the top anti-aging ingredients in the world. And it's proven, along with a couple of other ingredients there, that it can help reverse, not just stop anymore. Some of the things they're doing now with mice, and even some samples with checking out chronological age versus biological age, and people with biological age reversing, right? And someone at 60 is now showing a biological age of 50 or 55, and much of that is because of resveratrol actually being taken with this ingredient down here, NAD, right? You combine these two ingredients here together, and then you throw in some MSM on top of that, and you've got probably the #1 weight loss product in the world, guys. I mean, not weight loss, anti-aging product. Lots of studies, lots of tests. So I'm not saying that's what we're doing here, but when you look at what's these, and there's so many studies for each of these products, you can go make your own conclusions, right? But again, this is another great anti-diabetic product there, cognizant with brain functions, et cetera. Again, when you think of anti-aging or stopping aging or slowing down the age, and this resveratrol here, guys, is incredible. Okay, so that's some of the key ingredients. And so when you're promoting Cili, don't just promote it as CBD, promote it as some of these other ingredients and based on what their need is. And then you've got the minerals down here, guys. I mean, this is huge. Now, let me point out because one of the things that you see, we don't put a lot of single source vitamins. You see a little bit of vitamin C there, but you don't see a lot of single source vitamins. We've had that question come up. You got all these minerals, Where's the vitamins? Well, when you start really studying, some of the ingredients like curcumin and some of this ashwagandha, some of these various ingredients, what you find out is, look, just like CBD, right? CBD is high in a lot of the vitamins and the B vitamins and stuff. So why would we put more vitamins in when we already got ingredients that are chock full of vitamin C and vitamin D and vitamin C and all of this, right? So that's kind of just so you know, when you start breaking these down and see which ones are rich in vitamin C, to throw in another, round of vitamin C would be overkill, and no need for that, because you've got plenty in the CBD, CBG. So when you look down here, and here's what you have to understand. If you take vitamins without the minerals, right, all you're getting and all you're paying for is expensive urine, right? The minerals are even more important, I would say, to you, especially when you've got them already in these other ingredients, right? When you take these top ingredients, CBD, CBG, and these other 7, you've got pretty much most of the vitamins you're going to need. And then you have the minerals that work synergistically with them to make the vitamins work. Because again, it doesn't do any good just taking vitamins only. But the one thing you want to make sure you're pointing out is these vitamins. Matter of fact, I may do a whole call when we talk nothing but about the vitamin portion of our product, right? Because these colloidal vitamins, colloidal minerals we have here in these blends down here, guys, are incredible. We have pretty much almost every mineral on the periodic table. And for your body to have optimal functionality and be as healthy as it possibly can, you got to have about right at 70 vitamins. But here's the problem. In the foods you eat, you get about 10. And if you go out here and buy a multivitamin or a vitamin mineral, somebody asked me that, well, what if I buy a multivitamin and mineral? I said, count the number of minerals you read on there. And they stop around 10 or maybe 12 or 18. Folks, when you're getting over 90 vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, et cetera, here in this product, and they're all important. Somebody said, well, why do you have gold in the product? Or why do you have, some of these various ingredients? Because they're important, guys. Without the minerals are kind of the spark plug of life, if you will. That's why they call some of these minerals electrolytes, because it's kind of keeping the system sparking and running, and it's kind of a conduit, if you will. And like I said, we'll do a separate call with that. But this right here alone, and if you look at some of our results we're getting, especially like, for instance, hair rejuvenation, right? 35% of all women have hair loss issues, right? Hair coming out in the drain when they take their shower. The number one reason for hair loss is a mineral deficiency, right? So that's number one reason. Number 2 is stress and anxiety, which our products help with, right? I've just mentioned that in a lot of these ingredients. But you got these minerals that many people are lacking. Matter of fact, Linus Pauling, who was a 2-time Nobel Peace Prize winner, he said this. He said that every illness or disease known to man or a woman can be attributed to a mineral deficiency, right? So if you're just buying CBD only, which does have some minerals in it, right? But if you've got all the minerals you need, you're going to get a better result, right? So all this is working together here. So you're not just, you're not, and again, just pointing out to you that we don't need to have single source vitamins out here, and that your body needs about 70 of these minerals. And you got the vitamins coming in, you got the minerals here, and you've got all down through here. I'll kind of come back in a minute and get into just a little bit of this, okay, as we go. But again, just keep in mind as you're promoting this product, and I'm going to help you understand what the product is doing and why you need this product as we go through here. But understand that, it's not just CBD. And this is why, again, if you go to ciliworks.com and click on there and you start scrolling down to those before and after pictures, right? I'll put our before and after pictures against any CBD company in the world, and say, hey, show me what your skin improvement is. Show me what your hair improvement is, right? And then, of course, we've got the written testimonies. You can't take a before and after picture of pain or sleep, but we've got plenty of those too, right? And so, matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. I'll take it to say this. I'll put our before and after against any nutritional company in the world, guys. No one is doing what we've done. I was looking at a company the other day. I'm not going to say who they are or what they're selling, but this is a nutritional company, and they got a handful of pictures up. And this one, was supposed to be improving skin. And you look very, very hard, and it's like, is it really improved, or is that just they took it in different lighting? I looked around the background, the background's different, the lighting's different. I mean, you can just, you're trying to figure out, is it working? Is it real? Because it's just a vague difference, right? But then I look at people like Lisa Fleming on here, whose hand, had that lack of a better word, gash in it, that skin issue there for years, and spent thousands of dollars on doctors and drugs, and nothing helped. And then she gets on this product, and boom, within 2 weeks, and it's completely, I'm going to say fixed, because we can't say heal or cure, but then it's never went back. And some of the relation and some of the various issues, you look at Johnny Seaside's legs with those holes in it on that, and all the different drugs he was on, and he gets on Swish, and in a few months, with all this working together, before long, boom, now he's back to surfing again, and he's out having a good life. Okay, so we've got something very special here. So let me what I want to talk about a little bit tonight, to really get you to understand, and hopefully you are, that we are more than just CBD. And as you're talking to people, because some of you, I think, are losing, you're not helping as many people because you let them say, well, I'm already taking CBD, or I'm already, I've already tried CBD, right? Well, did it work? Well, no, it didn't work. Well, this is why you got to try this. We're not just CBD. We're over 90 something ingredients, that would cost you hundreds of dollars if you bought this separately, right? And I'll come back to that in a moment. But the bottom line is making sure that you're letting them know the value of this, because if you don't let them know and they don't try it, I mean, especially when you say, how much is your CBD? And all of a sudden they tell you 89 or 99 or 199 or 149 or even 69. And it's CBD only, and it's not nano size, or they're using 1960s, your grandmother's nano, which is liposomes or methylation. They're not using our water encapsulated aquaceutical nanotechnology. There's a whole difference there. So maybe just a little education can help you understand why you want to be making sure everybody is on the product, but you can explain it, because there's nothing like what we have. So let me jump over. I'm going to talk about MSM tonight a little bit. I'm going to use this one as our core because it's the first one. And if you're kind of curious about how the layout goes, we're not going to give you that completely, but I would say the biggest ingredients, the majority of the product is made up of CBD and CBG. The next blend is this, and it's in the order so there's more MSM than there is Boswellia or curcumin, and it goes kind of, it switches, how ingredients are, and of course then these blends are all mixed. But the point is, you can kind of understand how this flows out. Now, we're not going to give you the blend because we've got something special, as you can tell by going to cdresults.com and looking at it. So we're going to talk about the first one. Maybe the reason I talk about this one, number one, is one of my favorite ones. I think everybody in the world should be taking MSM. The problem with most MSM you get out there is denatured because of the heating process, and you'd have to take 30,000 milligrams a day to get the benefit if you got it then. But with what we're doing, nano-sizing it down, it's very effective. It's a great ingredient. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and jump into this and share with you a little bit about it. And there's a great book out here, The Miracle of MSM, the natural solution for pain. Now, this book, he doesn't just talk about pain, and you can get this book $15 if you want. He talks about how it relieves back pain, headaches, muscle pain, arthritis, athletic injuries, allergies, and more. Now, this is just one of many books. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of articles, of studies and research done on MSM. It's undisputable. Matter of fact, here's something you probably didn't know. MSM is the third most abundant mineral element in the body. It's the third behind calcium and phosphorus, right? Some people say it's number 4, but either one. The point is, most people don't realize how much MSM is in their body and that we need MSM. Now, I'm going to refer to this, by the way, as we go to sulfur as well, because MSM is a sulfur. So if you see that, I'm not, in some of the slides I created have that in there. So you'll kind of see that it's the same thing, right? And so when you look at that, your body's made up of a third of the most abundant element in the body is MSM, right? So it's important, right? And when you look at it, folks, here's just some of the things that MSM does. It's called the beauty mineral because it softens tissue, it relieves stress in the body, okay? And it's great for asthma, inflammation, constipation, candida, detoxes the body. We'll talk a bit about that in more detail. That's why I've got that highlighted, because this is really important for detoxing the body. This is going to make a lot of sense to you here, okay? It includes blood circulation. That's why sometimes for some people are fine. Some people can't take it as late at night, but most people can. It reduces muscle cramps and back pain. it removes inflammation, not just, softens it. Many people claim that it actually removes it totally. It permits muscles to heal, usually more quicker, and increases energy and alertness, mental calmness. It's great for depression. I've got, some studies that say that, you get on MSM at the right doses, and with less than 6 months, your depression will be gone, guaranteed. Now, again, we're not making that, but I'm just, just kind of sharing with you some of that. So hair growth, nails, big time for that. Okay, so because here's the deal: your body needs sulfur, i.e., MSM, to fix the DNA, right? So now we're getting into epigenetics, right? So your body has to have sulfur to fix your DNA and protect your cells from damage that can lead to some very, very serious diseases. Now, I'm not going to list off all those diseases. Again, I don't want to even get on the fringe of making any kind of claim. And I'm just saying to you what MSM does. I'm not saying to you, again, that this is what our product's going to do, but you need to know how good this product is. You need to know how we're working with this product and why it makes a huge difference in you promoting this product and you using it yourself. Okay. And so let's go into let's talk about, these are the benefits as we talked about. And how do you know if you're not feeling good, if you need it, right, without taking some kind of test? Okay. And so what happens is, you just kind of see this, without organic sulfur in the body, the body starts to break down gradually over time, right? And so, before long, you start suffering deficiency, and all of a sudden you start to magnifies a lot of common issues like aging and appearance. You ever see anybody that's 40 years old and they look 60, or they're 50 and they look 70? I was just talking to someone. I was out on the road not long ago doing meetings and stuff, and this person kept coming up to me and they were telling me, well, I'm 60 years old now. I'm 60 years old, and I hate to say it, but I mean, the person she looked 75 or 80, right? And could be a very good sign of being sulfur deficient, because again, sulfur will do unbelievable things to with the skin and the hair, the nails, the whole deal. Okay, it impacts all functions of our cells and regeneration. Okay, of the cells, right? So again, now we're back to some anti-aging and slowing down the aging process. If we're not regenerating our cells, then we're aging, right? So so you can kind of see, and here's a key one, by the way, that we'll talk about a little later on, but this is very important because a lot of companies sell nothing but collagen, and they're doing millions of dollars a month, or keratin, or even glutathione, right? Guys, low levels of sulfur is key in the production of glutathione and collagen and keratin, right? I mean, it is needed to produce that, and if you can't, then glutathione is one of the body's main antioxidants, right? But if you don't have the proper amount of sulfur, it doesn't matter if you're taking, let alone your body's not going to be producing it, because MSM and some other ingredients can be precursors to produce both glutathione and collagen. I'll come back to that, but without, I see people taking some of these products and they don't have any sulfur to kind of kick them in. And there's a lot of products that require kind of a partner, for lack of a better word, or even a chaperone, if you will, to make sure they're actually absorbed and they're working. Okay. But here's what you can look at. And just kind of as I go through these, ask yourself, okay, common issues related to sulfur deficiencies, and you can look and say, hey, that's me, or maybe I know someone like that. Matter of fact, get your list out here, and you want to be able to think of some people that might need this product. Who do you know has got rough skin, dry skin, and wrinkling, maybe more so than they should, right? Or maybe acne and poor skin complexion, right? Thinning and unhealthy hair, right? And we might as well throw in here cracking and brittle nails, brittle hair, because all of that is contributed to a low amount of sulfur or sulfur deficiency in the body, right? Okay. It also, if you have you have a limited ability to remove toxins and waste and heavy metals. We're going to talk about that in a moment. This sulfur is vital. And again, taking out the trash and being able to get rid of the toxins and chemicals in your body, which, as we know, leads to things like chronic pain and inflammation. And do you have some chronic pain and inflammation that you're still not getting rid of? Or maybe, and sulfur can help with that, right? Joint issues and poor mobility. This is huge. Digestive issues and candida, leaky gut, and of course, brain fogginess and fatigue. So if you're suffering from any of that, this is not, and again, you may have other issues, right? But you can see there's a whole myriad of situations, I don't want to say illnesses, but situations that sulfur can help with. And if you are deficient in them and you're kind of having a suffering from it might be because, hey, even if you're taking Swish, maybe you need to take it twice a day or 3 times a day like I do, right? So I don't get all this brain function and funk and my hair grows and so forth, right? Some of you are doing fine on just one. Some of you know some people that maybe I need to let them know about this, right? Because, some of these CBD will help. Some of them CBG will help. But the fact we don't have to worry about if it helps or not because we got MSM in our product, right? Okay, so now let me share with you a little bit about why you need Swish. And because I can tell you, there's a handful of foods that you can get sulfur from, but you're not going to get enough, right? Food is not going to be enough. Never again is food going to be enough to give you all your nutrition you need. You guys have been hearing about that for years. And so if you look at this is a study done by Purdue University. Over here on the left, this little graph over here is your bioactive sulfur and mineral levels in the soil where the plants grow. So if you look at this is back in 1900s, the sulfur level was about 450, 500 parts per million in the soil where vegetables and fruits are grown. And of course, you know what happens from the vegetables and fruits and the wheat and the barley and the corn and all that goes to feed the cattle, right? So even the livestock we eat they're getting the same nutrition, right? You come over here in 1940 and it's down to about 250 parts per million. You come over here to 1980, that wasn't that long ago, 42 years ago, and it's down to 125. But look at it now, it's around 50 parts per million, guys. This is constantly coming down, right? And so the minerals that we need, this is why I said food is not enough, and it's never going to be enough anymore because the foods that we're eating does not have the minerals in it, right? So we got to, you got to have more than that, right? So, and you may say, well, what if I'm eating organic? If I'm eating organic, do I get more? No, guys. I mean, the thing is, USA Today published an article with 202 studies and reviews that said organic nutrition is no different than non-organic. The only thing you don't get any more nutrition buying organic products. What you do get is less of the herbicides and insecticides, the pesticides, and et cetera. And so, but it doesn't increase, and people are confused about that. They think eating organically increases their nutritional value. It does not. It's been proven over and over again. 202 studies in the USA Today not long ago. So let me just share with you why is this happening. 1936, you've heard me talk about this in our presentation. In 1936, way back over in here, Dr. Charles Northern presented to Congress with scientific documentation that 99% of Americans were mineral deficient because we're not getting the minerals that we used to get in our food, right? Our food does not have the same minerals because of soil depletion. It starts in the soil, guys, okay? And so that was back in 1936. Nothing's been done about it except more chemicals and more, fertilizers, et cetera. And so if you look at about in 1930, get this, guys, in 1930, again, way back over here, right around the same time he published that study, farmers grew 40 bushels per acre of crop. Today, they're farming over 20 bushels per acre, causing soil to break down and less minerals and nutritional value is not getting into the crops, right? And so when you look at that, it's no wonder again that our crops and our what we're getting is not got the nutrition we need, right? So we'll talk about that a little bit more, but here's the problem. It all starts in the soil before it can get into the plants, right? So let's take a look at this. Here's kind of the disruption of the sulfur cycle, but you could also put the mineral cycle in here. You could put the nutritional cycle in here, because here's what's happening. This is what you have to understand why you need and why your friends and why people need Cili, right? Because again, you're not going to get it from the food. Here's what happened, right? If you look at this, chemicals and fertilizers block sulfur that's down here in the soil and other minerals are, again, from being absorbed by the roots. So you plant these crops, the roots are down here, they're looking for some food, some nutrition. They're not getting it because the fertilizers are helping them grow faster and bigger, but it's cutting off the nutritional value, right? And then we've got rain and irrigation, where we're getting the irrigation at from the ponds. It's got chemicals into them, and the rain's got chemicals. You've heard of acid rain, you've heard of chemtrails, whatever you believe in on some of those different things there. But what's undeniable is that the air that we breathe is not as clean as it was 50 years, 100 years ago, right? And so, you know, I mean, you look out here in Vegas where I live in the valley. If it's there's that days when the wind's not blowing at all, you look across that valley and it's just kind of yellowish. We don't get very many of those days, but once in a while it's like, oh yeah, I want to go back inside because I don't want to breathe that air, right? So all of a sudden it starts to rain. Where does that stuff go? It goes down into the plants, and this is why, again, even eating organically, if you're eating organically and if they're not using pure water and they're using rain, it's still going to get down into these plants, right? And it's going to cause, again, the chemicals are going to come up in the plants because that's what put in them, right? That's what's going to be in the roots, and that's what's going to be in the fruits. So you got to change the roots to change the fruits, right? And if there's no nutrition down here, and if there's chemicals down here, that's what's going to come out, right? So this is what's happening with their food, right? Okay, you look over here since 1950s, and it started around 1950s. You can go back to that chart and look over there. This is when commercial farmers started using petroleum-based fertilizers that deplete the soil found in our soils. And the USDA was aware of this, and especially back in the southeastern part of the USA. And today, you know, they don't, the sulfur deficiency that we're talking about here, as well as, and again, I'm just focusing on one here, guys. You can think of all the other minerals that are naturally in this soil that you're not getting. So now we're back to Linus Pauling saying that in every illness or disease known to man or woman can be attributed to a mineral deficiency. Because here, I mean, look at this is some of the diseases they're talking about: obesity, heart disease, Alzheimer's, and chronic fatigue, right? So this is what's happening. This is what we're experiencing. This is why, again, food is not enough. You must supplement. And if you're not going to supplement, you're not going to have optimum nutrition. And you need a supplement that's going to help detoxify the body as well, which is what Swish does. A lot of products don't, but Swish does. Okay, so here's what we're doing. You know, here's the farm, right? You know, sulfur from the farm, from the soil, has been impacted by the environment and agricultural practices that are now, again, as we just discussed, the pesticides, insecticides, the fertilizers, right? And so we're getting these meats. You know, if you're farming chickens and cows and beef, and let alone the steroids, we hadn't talked about that. You come over here, you've got the vegetables, and guess what? So all of a sudden, you know, I like this statement on this slide: humans that eat meats and plant sources have lower dietary intake of sulfur. And again, you could put other minerals, right, or other nutrition. Well, I'm thinking, what else is there, right? I guess you just live off air and water, because all humans eat either meat. Some of them are vegetarians and plant sources, but the point is, you're trying to get antioxidants in, and you're wondering why your enzymes aren't coming in your proteins, and your skin is not healthy, and your liver is having problems, right? And by the way, just one thing I love about MSM, which we're talking about, MSM is great for the liver. It's great to help the liver function. We'll maybe talk a little bit about that as we go. But here's what's happening, guys. You know, we're farming out here, and things are happening. We wonder why we're more diseased, we're more obese than we ever have. Okay, and it's because of what we're getting from our crops. Okay, and so I love this over here. You know, you are what you eat. No, this is important, guys. I mean, think about this for a second. Every 35 days, your skin replaces itself, right? And with new body markers from the food you eat. So you become literally what you're eating, right? So you have a choice on what you're going to eat. You can eat processed foods, processed meats, lots of sugars and all that. We know that's not healthy for us. Now, it is better to eat this way, but again, you're not going to get as much as you need. Because let me make a correction here. This is a great little deal. It's kind of cute, kind of fun, and it's true. You do every 35 days, your skin, every so often, your cells regenerate. So your body is always renewing itself. But what is it renewing itself with? Chemicals, you know, very little minerals, very little sulfur, very little, you know, nutrition. You know, no, you're not what you eat, you're what you absorb. Here comes Cili. This is what we're talking about here. So in Cili, you're to be what you absorb, you know, you're able to actually get these nutritions. So let me give you another example here. This is a UCLA study here, right? And they did this study recently here. Today, it would take you 9 oranges to get what you got in 1 orange in 1952, right? Do you think you're less stressed today than 1952? Do you do less work? You mean, look, I mean, if you needed 1 orange a day back in 1952, and now you got to take 9, that's hard to do, right? Okay, 12 apples today to get what you'd get, the nutrition value you get in 1 apple in 1952. Not my words, it's a UCLA study, right? Spinach, oh, you'd hope they ate a spinach salad today. Good luck. You know, it takes 42 bowls of spinach, 42 salads to get what you get in 1 bowl in 1952, right? So again, guys, we're not getting the nutrition that we need. And that way, again, you need to supplement. And I believe we got the best supplement, and we help you with the supplementation, because another bad thing that's happening here with all this we're talking about here today, it's not just what you're not getting in the food, it's what, poor gut health. That's a big topic these days. Poor gut health. Where's that come from? That comes from the air we breathe, the waters and the things we drink with chemicals in them, the air we breathe, birth control pills, drugs, flu shots, vaccine shots, all these chemicals that we're putting in our body, for lack of a better word, corrupting our gut. So even if you got good nutrition, even if you ate 9 oranges a day, how much is your gut going to allow you to process? Very little, right? And so when you look at these two things happening, between your gut not absorbing what it used to back in 1950, 1920, or 1900s, right? Before you had all these pesticides and insecticides and all these things that you're eating that's causing your gut issues, and before you lowered the amount of nutrition in the foods you're eating, you could actually, at least back then, you could absorb it, right? And you would even get more. And you got a better quality product. You got 1 orange, which gave you what you needed. And guess what? You could absorb it. But now today's you got a double whammy going on. You got to take more because you're not getting as much. And number 2 is you're not absorbing as much. But then you bring Cili in, and you bring water encapsulated, you bring it down to under 10 nanometers, and you give the body what it needs, and you're adding those supplements, right? This is why you're seeing these great results. But let's talk about another thing before we move on here with MSM. MSM is considered the ultimate detox for the body, right? And this is going to be real important. So I hope you get some of this, because this is, if you look right here, guys, this is, if you look at a cell, one important thing that you mentioned, you saw in that one of the earlier slides that talked about detox that MSM or sulfur brings in. What it does, it starts to soften the cell walls. It doesn't enter. Interesting thing, MSM doesn't enter the cells, but what it does, it softens the cell walls. Okay, and when it does that, it allows the absorption of amino acids and nutrients and oxygen into the cells. And by the way, let me just make this statement to you here real quick while I'm thinking about it. When you soften these cell walls for these ingredients, MSM is a friend, and it softens the wall for everything, for CBD, for CBG, for all those minerals we talked about, for that ashwagandha, for that curcumin. So what that's doing is, again, it's almost like I consider it kind of like a chaperone, if you will. It kind of leads, it does its part, and then it leads the products there and say, let's go in, right? So that's what's happening here. So when you take, it's what we mentioned, glutathione a while ago, and even collagen. I mean, it's glutathione needs a proper amount of sulfur, i.e. MSM, to be effective. And if you're not doing it, if you're not absorbing it, then guess what? You're wasting your money, right, for some of these products out here. And so it's very important to understand what this is doing here and for the body. And look, it's no secret why this is one of their top ingredients in our products, guys, okay? And maybe in all of our products in the future, because again, we know that it helps it helps with the absorption, right? Now, what happens is once these nutritionals come in and oxygen comes in the cell walls, then guess what? It opens up the cell walls and releases toxin and waste and heavy metals, right? So let me just kind of give you what happens. So MSM, sulfur is playing kind of like a protecting, let me just give you oxygen as an example. It kind of protects oxygen. It leads oxygen, it softens the cell's wall so oxygen can penetrate it. All of a sudden, oxygen is introduced to the cells. Oxygen is a large particle. When a large particle of oxygen comes in, guess what? It pushes out the toxins. And in other words, it takes out the trash. It pushes out, things like aluminum, things like lead, things like mercury and copper that's been stored. These toxins we've been taking in from the food stuff that we've been eating, from the water, the air, the whole deal. They're stored in these cells, guys. And all of a sudden, guess what? A big old clump of oxygen comes in, pushes these out. Now, here's the secret. Here's the thing. If sulfur's in the body, guess what? The sulfur binds with it, it becomes a sulfate, and it safely leaves the body and goes in the toilet, and the toxins are gone. But if you don't have sulfur and you push these toxins into the body, guess what they do? They go on throughout the body to wreak havoc and cause trouble at other places, right? And so that's the beautiful thing about what we're doing here. Let me ask you a question. Some of you have brought this up in the past. Have you ever had anyone that gets on Swish and 3, 4, 5 days later, they're complaining about or telling you it tastes like metallic? Bingo, bingo. Yes, hopefully it does. If you've got a lot of toxins, if you look, praise God, if you take Swish and it tastes metallic, good for you, man. We got you in time, because what's happening is it's bringing the good stuff in, the oxygen. It's bringing in the nutrition. It's pushing out the bad stuff that's causing you problems, right? And it's getting rid of them. Now, one thing you want to do, tell them to drink plenty of water, right? Just like if you ever went and got a good massage, and he's giving you a deep tissue massage and getting those knots out and just going at it hard. Now, if you want these little fans, little baby hand massages, you're probably not going to get what I'm saying. But if you're like me, look, the harder the better. If I got a knot, make me cry, get it out, let's go. That's why I'm there, right? And when you get a good massage, a deep tissue massage, 10, 15, 30 minutes into it, if they're doing a good job, all of a sudden you're in your mouth, you start tasting a metallic taste. It's because she's pushing, or he's pushing he's pushing those knots and getting the toxins released. And that's why they always tell you, drink plenty of water. Make sure you drink plenty of water between now and tomorrow, so you can flush those toxins out. That's what's going on here, guys. Okay. And so, by the way, another quick secret. Another reason I take Swish 2 to 3 times a day. I take it very first thing in the morning. When you want the toxins out of your body, when you want the oxygen into the cells, when you want the cumin, when you want the CBD in, when you want to start helping, I want it first thing in the morning. I don't want to wait 10, 11, 12 o'clock. I want it now. And I take it first thing in the morning, even before my coffee, before anything. Put it right beside the bathroom sink, put it beside the bed, whatever. Take that, swish it around for 60 seconds. Let the magic begin. Let the work begin. Let the good stuff in. Let's get the crap out, right? Let's get the bad stuff in that settle in throughout the night, right? And then what I do, here's what a little secret. MSM, sulfur, only stays in the body, 8 to 12 hours. It's kind of an important thing to know, because here's what I do. This is why I take a second dose of Swish later. I got the toxin, brought the good stuff in, feeling good. My cells can use it, getting rid of the bad stuff, taking out the trash, the toxins. So again, a little bit later out in the afternoon, boom, I take another one. Sometimes I take 3 a day, right? Because, you can't overdose. You guys have seen that. But, I want this. And here's a great little secret too, but some of you won't be able to do this because, again, because of MSM and because of CBD, because of some of the stuff, it may give you a little too much energy, and it may keep you from sleeping. So you may not be able to take it at night. But if you can, there's many nights I'll take it doesn't affect me. It doesn't keep me up at night. So there'll be nights I'll go take a Swish before I go to bed, right? So while I'm sleeping for that next 7 to 8 hours, I know it's going to be in my system 7 or 8 hours, maybe longer, a little bit longer, perhaps 8 to 12 hours in most cases. So it's doing its work while I'm sleeping, right? Get up in the morning, take another doses, and so forth, right? And so you can take as much as little you want. It's not going to help you. But again, if you need, more, if you are back to some of these issues we're talking about, then maybe you need to jump in and take a little more, okay? And here's what's so important about what I'm explaining here to you. Research and reports show that Alzheimer's and other cognitive diseases are linked to heavy metals such as aluminum, lead, mercury, and copper. And what they do is they build up a plaque in the blood-brain barrier, and that's what's called these cognitive issues right there, guys. And there's all kind of, there's the big pharma and the big companies trying to say not, and there's so many other people. I just read an article in ProMed about this, about aluminum, right? The debate about that, right? Here's the problem. I will give you a little heads up. Most of us, many of you listening to this, use your deodorant every day, and it's got aluminum in it. So you're taking your armpit up there and the glands, and you're putting aluminum in, and you're saying, look, let me put more toxins into my body, right? That we know can be harmful, and we know can possibly cause Alzheimer's and some of the other issues, right? And I'm not making a claim that our product does anything. I'm just giving you facts that you can look up and see and study yourself. So number one thing I would say to you, just a little side advice, is Switch your deodorant. There's plenty of deodorants out there that does not have aluminum in it. Get rid of that, so your body's not having to work hard and push them out, right? And the great thing is, at least when people are taking our products, they've got a chance to have this working on them again. So that's why, again, when you feel that, or these people say that, that they're feeling they're tasting the metallic, man, that's a good thing, man. So some of you have been confused by those. Well, they didn't like it. It tastes like metallics. That's how they need it worse than I do. They need it worse than you do. If you take it, you don't taste metallic, they need to take it. Double up on it. Let's get all that crap out of there so you can get the filling better as quick as possible, right? So, all right. So again, another quick thing. I'm gonna move on here. I'm not gonna make a big issue out of this, but one of the amazing things about MSM is this anti-parasitic. In other words, parasites. As you can see down through red worms and various types of intestinal worms that it gets rid of, right? And so that's another big one there that, some people have issues, some people don't. You can see the blood test. Sometimes you see them in some of the blood tests you do, but a great thing with that. Now, let me just quickly here show you, some of you have seen this, some of you haven't. This is actually my blood test that I went and had what's called a microscopy, a living blood analysis. I went over here in Vegas, paid $175 for them to do this. I said, I want you to take my blood. And what they do, if you've never seen one, they say, prick your finger. And they got this really high-powered microscope. So they prick your finger and draw a little bit of blood out. They put it on this little glass platelet, and they put it under that really high-powered microscope. And then they bring it up on a TV screen, or in this case, a computer screen, and they tell you what your blood's like. So they did this, right? I got off the product. I got off Swish for 4 days. I wanted it all out of my system, everything out of my system. And when I did, this is what my blood looked like. Okay, this is a video. This should be moving, but you can see the only thing's moving is he's moving the platelet under the screen. And look at that, guys. This blood is not moving. These are blood cells that should be moving. Blood cells should be moving to some stress in the cells. You can hear the doctor say there's definitely some stress in the cells, right? And so these blood cells should be moving so they can, again, deliver oxygen, as we just spoke of, deliver nutrition, as we just spoke of in that last slide, an example, and of course, take out the trash that we just take out, the toxins, right? So if this is your blood, which the practitioner, you can see his name at the top up there, he told me that pretty much 99% of everybody comes in, they look like this, right? And I can tell you when that happened, I was quite nervous. He said, man, this is a stroke getting ready to happen. This is a heart attack waiting to happen. Your blood's not circulating, right? This is not healthy blood, right? So what I did is I took 1 capful of Swish, and I had him prick my finger, and I took 1 capful. I waited 5 minutes, folks, 1 capful, 1 teaspoon, and swished it around. And 5 minutes later, I had him pick the same finger again and bring it up again. And here's what happens, guys. Look what happened. 5 minutes after taking Swish, look what's moving. We talked about sulfur and CBD, et cetera, delivering oxygen to the blood. This is healthy blood, guys. This is moving. These blood cells here, you can see the big white blood cells there in the middle there. But this blood now can deliver oxygen. It can deliver nutrition. It can take out the trash, right? It can take out the toxins and do what the body is made to be doing, okay? So you've probably seen that, and we've got a number of those done. And I've had people say, well, that doesn't prove anything. What it does, you can draw from it your own conclusion, right? But it does prove that our product is effective, and it's effective very quickly, right? Some of our scientists say it's 100% absorption. Our attorney says say 99, and I don't know what it totally is, but I can tell you that's 5 minutes real life right there, and we've had so many of these done, right? And look, I've had these done before, and with another nutritional product. You take the first one over here, they tell you to wait an hour, take the product and come back in an hour, or maybe an hour and 15 minutes, because it takes that long to see a difference. And even when you do this, it's not the difference is not as distinct. You still got a lot of this and a little bit of this, a little bit better sometimes. And so draw the conclusion you want. But if you look at the last slide, and what we're talking about of being able to push the oxygen in, right, that it needs, and push the nutrition in, and being able to take out the trash, which are 3 of the main functions of nutrition and even of CBD, et cetera. So now with that being said, when you look at what we've done here with it, we could talk 12 hours, 15 hours just on the rest of MSM and really get into the weeds, but we're not going to do that. Let's go ahead and just kind of summarize here. Here's what we're doing, guys. Sulfur is a good thing. And if it's working right, you will sulfur MSM into the body, creates SAA, which is sulfur amino acids, which is very important. I'm not going to get into that tonight, which also is creates glutathione, right? And from this, the physiological effect is building blocks of keratin as well as collagen, as I mentioned before, maintaining connective tissue, reduced inflammation, reduced octave stress. And then the benefits are healthy skin, healthy nails, healthy hair, joint health, right? Exercise recovering a lot faster, especially for those of you who work out. And then immunity, building an immune system like crazy. Because again, when one of the best immune ingredients in our body is glutathione. But again, if you don't have the sulfur, good luck. And this is a precursor for that, right? And so you need that. And of course, allergies, et cetera, all the things we just talked about, okay? So that's what starts to happen. So with the body. And what I want to point out to you is what we're doing here with Cili again. You know, I love this little slide over here, the pharmacy, right? And this is what the pharmacy used to be, right? It used to be vegetables, as you can see back here, right? And I love this little example. He's the guy in the pharmacy back here, the farmer is saying, hey, take one a day with a tomato and a cucumber, right? And that's what we used to be able to do because we could eat the vegetables, we could eat the fruits, we could eat what we needed, and it would give us the nutrition that we wanted, right? Okay, but you know, it's not like that anymore. And this is where Swish comes in. This is where Cili comes in, because here's the thing. You've heard us say this a lot. The body has its own internal pharmacy, and it knows what to do. Again, guys, understand, we're not saying that Cili heals, cures, mediates, or any diseases or illness, and we don't promote it as such, right? But your body has its own internal pharmacy and knows what to do and how to heal and cure itself, right? And so, but the question is, what are you putting on the shelves? What are you putting on the shelves of your pharmacy? If you walk up to the pharmacy here and you say, hey, I'm having some, some headaches and migraines, and what's the guy going to say? So he's going to say, well, yeah, great. I'm glad you're here. We're going to give you some clitoris there. We're going to give you some sulfur, and we're going to give you, let's try the CBD and CBG to go with it, right? Or are they just going to say, hey, we got CBD only, right? I've got some skin issues, right? That's really bugging me and hurting me and making me, embarrassed to wear shorts or whatnot. You're just going to walk up and say, well, all I have is CBD, because that's all you're putting on your shelves. That's all you're putting in the pharmacy, in your body's own pharmacy. And if you're just taking CBD only, then you're not going to have it comes up with a skin issue. I'm sorry, we don't have anything for that. But here, look, we've got something. We've got MSM. We've got all these we got these minerals. Got all the minerals in the periodic table. Let me give you here. Take these. Use these, right? Because minerals are the number one reason for skin issue. Lack of minerals, and the MSM can help with that, and so forth. So if you walk up there and you've got an issue, I've got hair loss. Well, I can give you some glutathione only, or I can give you some aloe vera only, or I can give you some collagen only. No, here's what we're doing, guys. What are you putting into on your shelves? You're putting 90 different vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, adaptogens, electrolytes. So when you walk up and your body says, hey, I need this, right? It's got what it needs to keep it running smooth, right? To keep the inflammation down, to keep the headache, whatever the case may be, right? But if your shelves are empty, or you're just relying on food only, food is not enough, right? Okay. Plus the problem with food, guess what? It's not only is it not enough, it's bringing in toxins. So you need a double whammy. You need something that's going to not only increase the nutrition that you need to be getting for optimal health, but you also need something that's going to rid the body of the toxins that you're getting, whether you want them or not. Right? I don't care how organic you're eating, guys. Again, it does not increase nutritional value. And I don't care how organic you're eating, you're not getting away from all pesticides, right? Unless you live in some kind of space dome like they had out in Arizona at one point, maybe, right? Where the air is pure and nothing else is getting on it, right? All right. So, and so you need, and by the way, let me repeat something, because you may get so excited about MSM, you want to go get some. You guys, I can tell you, I wouldn't do that, because the MSM on the market is, again, I mentioned this earlier, it's denatured. In other words, most MSM out there they're not nanosized, they're not doing what we're doing. So most NSM out there, even though it's pretty cheap, it's very affordable. But most of them, I've been on sites and looked at it. Some of them say take 20, some of them 30,000 milligrams a day. That's 30 grams a day, really? I mean, to get and they'll flat tell you that because it's not denatured, because it's denatured, most of this is not working, right? So when you got something that we've done all the work for you, the highest quality of ingredients, and then we nano-size it down. If you need more, if you get excited and I say, look, I need more, I want to take more of this, then take a second capful if you want, right? You know, we put an extra 9 servings in there a month for you so you can double up when you want, okay? So when you look at this, what are you putting on the shelves? What can your body call in when all of a sudden something happens to it? You know, my hair, my nails, my not sleeping well, whatever the case may be. And this is what I'm trying to help you understand. That is what we're doing here is when you go back to this over here and look at what we got, you're putting all this on the shelves of your internal pharmacy. So it has more to draw from based on your needs. Your body's very intelligent. It knows what to use. And what I love about this water encapsulated, if it doesn't need it, it doesn't store. Any excess, it just moves on out, right? Okay, so you can't take too much. You're not going to overstore anything here. So you've got everything you need. I mean, take a look at this, guys. I mean, unbelievable what we're doing here when you take a look. I mean, I mentioned this to you already. MSM plays a major part on the body's ability to produce collagen and keratin. And there's companies out here that all they do is they charge you 40, 50, 80 bucks a month for collagen. And here you don't need it because you got the MSM, which is a precursor in creating it for you, right? And so you got that. If you come down here, glutathione, there's companies out there that are selling glutathione. And if you look down here, glycine is a natural precursor for glutathione. Look at this NAC down here, right here, folks. It is immediate precursor to glutathione. So you don't have to go out here and buy your collagen over here and your glutathione over there. It's ready in need and ready and waiting in your pharmacy to be used as needed. And on top of that, guys, you must have MSM for this to be absorbed and properly and enough of it. Otherwise, you're wasting money, right? Look at this down here, NAD. This product out here, if there's number one, there's no need to take it outside of Cili because you've taken it in a powder, you're taking it in a pill, it's not going to absorb, right? But this is one of the leading for epigenetics there and anti-aging, right? One of the leading, when you put this with this Resveratrol, I think I mentioned earlier, and then throw in some MSM, guys, you got one of the best products in the world. But this stuff here, they're charging $100, 50 bucks, 80 bucks, $100. And the problem is it does not absorb, period, right? This is why you go from there and you go get one that's NAD, which can now create NAM and NAD and NNM. I'm getting a little probably ahead of you here, but you can get NNM, which can then create some NAD, but this is just too hard to absorb unless it's, digested or nano-sized and water encapsulated. I mean, look over here, aloe vera, algae, right? Blue-green algae, spirulina, marine phytoplankton, whatever you want to call it. There's companies out here, that's their main product they sell, or aloe vera. By the way, both of these ingredients here are two of the most complete whole foods in the world. You take these two, and add it with CBD and Cbg, you got 3 of the most whole foods in the world, right? And aloe vera extract, but you don't have to go out here and buy it from another company, right? You've got it all in here. So you've got all your minerals. You've got your blue-green algae, your spirulina, your marine phytoplankton, whatever you want to call it, your algae extract there, you got your aloe vera, you've got your precursors for your both your creatine, your collagen, and your glutathione, right? And much, much more here. So you can kind of see, I mean, think about that. You go out here and you buy all these different ingredients. You buy, let's just say it's 70 bucks a piece over here for these two, and that's cheap. And you get what you pay for, right? Especially because it's going to be oil, not nano-sized like we are. So that'd be, even if it's $70 a piece for CBD and $70 for CBG, that'd be 140 bucks. And say all 3 of these 7 were, say 30 bucks. And some of these, if you pay 30 bucks, you're not going to get very good product. And on top of that, some of these, you're not going to get the absorption anyway, but you're wasting money. But 3 times 7, 7 times 30 would be 210. And what I say up here, 140. So now you're at, what's that, 350 bucks. You know, none of it's nano size, none of it's water encapsulated. You got $350 out. Then you got your minerals and you got your NAD and all this. So you can easily see, guys, how you could easily spend, you know, several $100s on the product. Okay. And so, you know, what you've got here is a product that 100% of the people in the world should be taking. Because I don't care who you are. You maybe only some people only don't think they need CBD. Well, everybody in the world has CBD receptors. I believe they do personally. I believe that's why we have CBD receptors. But the one thing I can guarantee you, every single person in the world needs adequate minerals, right? And needs sulfur in their body, right? If they're going to function properly, right? And so when you look at everything we've put together, there's no accidents that some of these are precursors for this and some of this works better with that and the whole deal. All this is scientifically put together by between our formulators and our scientists here and our nanotechnology here. So let me share with you as we wrap up here what I call the Cili advantage. Somebody say, well, how do I sell the product against another CBD company? You know, I mean, guys, I mean, between what we have here and what you just saw, but let me just give you 4 points here real quick here. We're going to wrap up. Number one, the first thing you sell is our technology. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we got videos and we got webinars that do, you know, that have slides on this, right? And it shows it to show it to you. So you might want to go back and watch the, you know, one of the product slides in your app. And you can get a better feel for our technology. But the aquaceutical nanotechnology, guys, no one has it. It's just proprietary to us. All ingredients, every one of those 90 plus ingredients I just showed you are all nano size, right? Then they're encapsulated in a 7-step process we use to create an ultra pure water. So you got the nano sizing going on here to less than 10 nanometers. Then we encapsulate them in ultra pure water, the same water that pharmaceutical companies use and you know, medical companies use, et cetera, right? And this creates the purest, fastest acting, most bioavailable products on the market anywhere in the world, right? So the number one thing, if you are having issues with somebody, let people know, you know, what's your technology? You know, what's nano? What kind of nano? Liposome, isolation, you're wrapping oil in oil, your CBDs in oil, you're wrapping oil in oil, right? So the top technology is one of the first things, right? Secondly is our formulas, right? I mean, if you didn't get that out of what I just did, then, you know, watch this again a couple of times. But again, a 50-50 blend. You don't have to go one place to buy a CBD, another place to buy a CBD. It's a 50-50 blend along with over 90 vitamins, minerals, nootropic, electrolytes, and primary adaptogens, all doctor formulated to work synergistically together for optimum total health, not partial health. It's not just CBD alone. This is total health, right? You know, you want your hair to look good, don't you? You want your eyes to be able to see better, right? You know, you want your nails not to be brittle and breaking, right, ladies? Right? You know, you don't want to be overweight, right? Now, again, some of you we might have to change a little bit. We might have to watch what we're eating. It's not it's not just, oh, I'm going to take this, I'm going to drop the pounds, right? So you may need to help it. We may need to change a little bit. But the point is you're looking for total health, right? You know, you just don't want one part of your body functioning over here. I still got this issue, right? Why not come over to the good place? I mean, to the good stuff here, right? I like the little videos going on. Can we get to the good part, right? You see those little videos going on? Well, this is the good part. You know, let's quit taking a single source product, or we take this product over here and this product over here. Come over here and get all the good stuff. One-stop shop for everything. So our formulas are unbelievable, guys. And I just gave you a little bit of snippet of what these things are doing together. What if we covered every ingredient? What if I, you know, maybe down the road, I'll tell you about those minerals that we got. I mean, that right there alone is a conversation worth having, right? So thirdly, is the price and the value, right? You know, products with maximum absorption that would cost hundreds of dollars if all ingredients were bought separately. That's what I just shared with you, right? I just kind of went over that with you. Got a little ahead of this portion here, but this is one of the things. These are the, you know, the Cili advantages, what I call the big four, right? The big four things that you should be selling if you're having trouble selling the product, right? Sell the technology. This is not your mother's CBD or your mother's MSM or your mother's ashwagandha or your grandmother's CBG, right? Our formulations are strategically put together synergistically, right? The value of this, again, go do it your own self, right? Go buy these products yourself and tell me what you'd come up with. My guess, no less than 300, probably 500 bucks. If you, again, and that's if you're buying the cheap crap at Walmart, right? You go out here and buy the good stuff at, say, maybe a Whole Foods or a top level vitamin company where you're getting the best nutrition, not stuff filled with talcum and shellac and powders, right? Okay. And see what you have here. So the value here for 50 bucks or $72.50, really? $72.50 to get what would cost you hundreds of dollars, right? Or they can become a distributor and buy it for 50 bucks, right? And that fits everybody's budget. The average person in America will spend $50 a month, $56 a month on nutrition. Well, isn't it kind of coincidental that this is only 50, right? And these are only 25? So, the price and the value here, guys, is unbelievable. I mean, if you're selling against somebody else and they're doing CBD, well, what else? What do you go get your curcumin? What are you getting your MSM? What are you getting your other ingredients? Well, I get them over here and I get them over here. And how much are you spending a month on nutrition, right? And so you got a great price point here and a great value. The last thing is the proven results, right? We got the Cili Works page. We've got our Cili Lifestyle page and Facebook to add people, the ATM, the ad tag and messages. If you'll use that, if you'll use the Cili results, you'll see that we have products that are proven to work on the masses. Folks, these products aren't working just on a couple of people. Now, look, there's some people it's not going to work on. It's not going to be all things to all people. What I do find is over 90% of the people that it don't work on, they don't take it compliant. In other words, they don't take it as directed. They'll take it once and not take it for a bit. Or they don't take it long enough. Guys, it's just like anything else. You got to take this for a minimum 90 to 120 days at least to start getting some of the better benefits of it, right? My sciatica took about three and a half months before it started getting out of my right side and my left and right hamstrings and all that stuff, right? Some of the other things got better a little quicker. But take it. We got proven results, folks. And you remember those saying, stories sell and facts tell. So making sure that you're showing them these things, right? So those are what I call your big four. If you're saying, hey, what makes us different? And hopefully you're kind of seeing a little bit about what Cili is about itself, not just the product, but we're about changing lives. And we're about understanding what's going on in the field of nutrition and understanding that, whether we like it or not, nutrition is not what it was, 10 and 15 and 20 years ago. And we can, bury our head in the sand. You know what they say about people that bury their head in the sand, right? They suffocate. And a lot of people out here suffocating, having illnesses and diseases, and they're not taking care of their bodies because they're in denial, right? But there's no denying the fact that we're not getting as much in our nutrition, in our foods we eat. It's no denying that our foods are whether we like them or not, whether we're buying organic or not. Not the organic is certainly better. However, it's no more nutritious. And even some of the organic, again, they can't avoid the rain and some of the chemicals and some of the stuff that's even coming on that, right? And that rain gets into the soil gets into the roots, and the roots gets into the fruits and so forth, right? So, when you got something working like this, guys, last thing I'll say to you is this. When you're approaching people about the product and looking at it that way, just remember, people buy benefits and they buy with emotion, right? People buy benefits and they buy with emotion. See, not most people that take CBD, they don't want CBD. Most people that take MSM, as great as it is, they don't want that either. They don't want they don't want the minerals, right? What they want is the benefit. They want their hair to grow. They want their skin to be more radiant and youthful looking, right? They want their nails to not break and be a little stronger, if you will, right? They want that pain gone, or they want to be able to sleep better, get a good night's sleep. See, here, remember this, guys. I've mentioned this maybe with you before. Over 500,000 people walked into a hardware store last year and bought a 1/4-inch drill bit. Let me say that again. Over 500,000 people walked into a hardware store last year and bought a 1/4-inch drill bit. You know what? Not a single one of those 500,000 people wanted a 1/4-inch drill bit. What they wanted was a 1/4-inch hole. They had to buy the drill bit to get the hole. And that's what you have to understand about nutrition. Most people could give a tinker's toot about nutrition. What they want is to be healthier, to feel better, to live longer, to look younger, right? And they get concerned as they start caring about nutrition, because that's the ends to the means, if you will, right? And so understanding that people want to, solve a problem for somebody, and they will gladly buy your product, right? And understanding that, they need to hear a story, because people buy through emotions, right? You tell somebody that's got a mother that's, I remember one story, I want to tell who told it, but one lady was telling me they got their mother on this product, and she had Alzheimer's and dementia and such as that. And she was in her last weeks and got her on this product here. And guess what? Her mother reached over and grabbed her hand and even told her name, and they said her name, and she hadn't spoke in weeks. And she said, I got a couple of weeks of quality time, or what I felt was quality time of being able to say goodbye and spend some time with my mother, because she responded to this product, right? And so, letting people know that, I don't know what stories you have, but there's plenty of them, right? Again, people buy emotions. A lady that sees a hair picture says, would that do that for me? They get emotional about that. But if you're not using the stories, if you're trying to be the message yourself, there's no I in the word message. Let the tools do the heavy lifting, let the samples do the heavy lifting for you, let the Cili works do the heavy lifting for you. Show them again, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And so they see these pictures or tell them a story. And that's what's going to stir their emotions. That's what's going to, again, the documentation meets conversation. And so just kind of learning that, again, people buy benefits, they buy emotions, solve a problem. And I can tell you this product is solving a lot of problems. So we're much more than CBD. The CBD is incredible. I'm not trying to belittle that because, my gosh, it's unbelievable. So, but however, I think some of you are short selling yourself, and especially if you're going up against other people already taking CBD, it's easy to let them see and come to the light, so to speak, come to the other side and get a better value for their money for a product that works better and is more effective. Okay. All right. So hopefully you got some great information out of that tonight, and we'll continue to do some of these from time to time, but I just kind of want to go that and give that to you there. And take your Swish, take it daily. It's okay to take it twice or even 3 times a day like I do. Take it as you need and what you feel. But by the way, if it's not working for you, again, I've had people in the business 3, 4, 6 months and only taking one a day, and still some of the issues they have, and all of a sudden they realize they start taking it 2 or 3 times a day, and it takes care of what they're doing. Don't be afraid to double up on it. That's why we put 9 extra servings in the Swish. It's designed to take the first when you open this bottle, the first 7 days you take this bottle, any bottle, you should take it twice a day for the first 7 days. That's why we didn't have to put the extra doses in there. We could have just left it at 30, but there's 39 doses in here in this 6.5 ounces. So take it properly, take it right, take it twice a day, swish it for at least 60 seconds. Okay, so it will work twice a day, the first 7 days, anytime you open a new bottle. And then you've got a couple extra in case you have a bad day or extra stress or whatever. You got a couple extras, and you'll finish off the month. The next month, when you start your new bottle, 7 times. This is how the product is designed. And so you can get maximum results, get out the toxins, the chemicals, make you feel good, and live a great life. Okay. All right, guys, we'll let you go. Great webinar, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.